Wonderful scenes at Broadwood after a quite remarkable cup tie. I'm not sure whether I have to declare an interest here, but I think most of you know that I'm a Clyde supporter. Pat, you're a former Clyde player. It could have been more.
Definitely could have been more. Brutal honesty from Gordon Strachan there, but you expect that from Gordon. There was no doubt there was only one team in it. Thoroughly deserved to win it. If Celtic would have sneaked something out at the end, it would have been a complete travesty. But you know, the amount of chances they had, we're going to see some of them again in a little while. It was wonderful for Clyde. It's wonderful for those Clyde fans. You and I know some of these guys. We've known them for many years. In the smaller clubs, you wait decades for days like today, so they've got every right to celebrate it.
Yeah. But usually when a smaller team causes an upset in the cup, it's a kind of backs to the wall, hanging on. It wasn't that today, Gordon.
You're right. And normally there's a bit of luck attached to it at the end of the day. You're saying, well, the big team didn't take their chances, this, that happened. Not today. The first half, I mean, it was mentioned there, Clyde dominated the first half, probably for the first hour. Clyde dominated it. I found it astonishing. And I think you put it in perspective as well. You say Celtic are top of the league at the moment. They've got all these big name players, and they brought in one of the Britain's biggest name players in Roy Keane today to make his debut. And you look at all these Clyde boys, a lot of them have been freed by clubs. They've got a chance. They had to play trials to get picked up. They're on low money, and they've all performed like that. And you just wonder, chairman around the country will be tearing up contracts now, just thinking, is that the way forward? You know what I mean? Save yourself some money and get guys who are really committed, people who have want to show that they've been wrongly put out at other clubs, wrongly let go. And I think that's an amazing thing. And to put it in perspective, that was a fantastic performance from Clyde today. Unbelievable. Graham Roberts, Joe Miller take a lot of credit for it too.
They've done a remarkable job. Let's take a look at the goals then. It was a game in which there were various controversial decisions, but let's just take a look at the first goal. It's Eddie Malone breaks down the left-hand side here. What about this opening goal, Pat?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I'd like to say is Bryson getting up there. For me, hate to say it as usual, but there has to be a man in the match somewhere, and for me it was him. I thought it was wonderful today. And if you do freeze it just as the ball's played in, yeah, he's in an offside position as he attacks the ball, but he doesn't actually touch the ball when the ball is played over, you know, and he does distract the goalkeeper. And as we roll on here, we see, I don't know what the keeper's thinking about, but a great run by Bryson. And
so that could have been disallowed, is what we're saying.
If Boric wasn't a top keeper, that would be embarrassing for him, because I mean, he makes a right mess of that there, but that could have been disallowed. This is a fantastic effort. I mean, he's perfect, I would say, technique there for that volley. It's a magnificent goal from Malone.
He's been outstanding all season, Eddie Malone, and he could not have taken that in any better. Just a wonderful goal.
His Telford gets a little flick on here, but look at his technique there. That's magnificent.
That's a Michael Owen stuff, you know, the kind of great goals that great strikers score, and it was wonderful. I'm delighted for him. It falls to his left foot, and of course it's just what he needs. But and the manager, he can't believe it, and he was milking it at the end of the interview there. But if you can't do it after a day like today, then when can you do it?
Yeah, the goal, to make a point, the goal could have been disallowed. We're going to show a few things here regarding offside.
It wasn't an easy day for Kenny Clark, actually.
Not at all. The linesman there could disallow it on the basis of he is active because he does distract the keeper.
So, how many did the officials get right? How many did they get wrong?
Well, first of all, a great ball there once again by Bryson, and Tom Brighton goes through there, and I'm desperate to know what's wrong with this.
Yeah. Well, we've watched it several times, and none of us can say anything wrong.
The referee gets one look at it, to be fair. He's a distance away because a long ball takes him out of the game, but he got it wrong. That should have been a goal.
Gordon Strachan always known that Douay's not strong enough, and that was clear on that occasion there. But the defending all over the park was all over the back line was a problem for Celtic. And this one looked offside at the time, didn't it?
There are two players offside, definitely offside, who are could not be considered active because they don't play a part and they're not distracting the goalkeeper here.
Yeah, if you look at it,
there's Williams,
number 9 in the centre is the one who scores the goal.
He's onside, and we understand that the linesman said he actually disallowed the goal because Williams was offside.
Off, yeah.
Brighton and O'Donnell were not active in play,
no.
So that
Williams
again
was
should have
onside,
stood.
that should have stood.
That should have stood. This one as well. There's an argument that this one could have stood as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, once again, it's Bryson. He's lovely little move there. Plays the 1-2. What you have to know there is when he actually plays the ball, it's when his own player touches it, he's offside, you think, because that's the new FIFA rule, and as it's coming in. So as we run it on, when does he actually touch it, the player that he passes it to?
He doesn't.
Never.
It could be construed as obstructing the
I think I would actually give offside in that previous one, but this one.
Yeah, we're stopping that there because this is now, after this penalty incident again, this is not deemed to be a goal scoring opportunity.
Apparently the referee reckoned this was not a clear goal scoring opportunity, which I must admit amazes me. It's obviously a penalty, but no card, and I think most of us expected this to be a red card for Douay.
Well, I think Hearts fans up and down the land will be shouting and screaming FISAS at this moment in time. You see from there it was a definite penalty. Quite obviously, Don Brenton made a bit of a meal of it, but it was pulled back, and you felt sorry for Clyde at that point because they'd made so many opportunities, but they didn't get a chance to finish it off there. But from the resulting corner,
if it's not a goal scoring opportunity, why does Douay grab his shirt? He must think he's going to score it.
Well, what it underlines is what we were saying earlier. It actually, on the basis of all of those decisions, it could have been 4-1 against 10 men. Yeah,
decisions. I mean, I've got to stand up for referees that they make decisions in all honesty because it's what they see at the time, what they think they've seen, and we've got the benefit of the footage to show them later on, specifically whether it's onside, offside or not. But never mind that. It was on the day. It could have been 4-1.
There were a lot of tough calls, but I think there were a lot of bad calls as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was that kind of day for the officials. The Celtic goal from Maciej Zurawski. It came late on. I must admit, I expected, as everyone would, that Celtic would have pounded Clyde second half, especially after this goal. It didn't really happen, did it?
Actually, Gordon, you were saying an hour. I think it was 75 minutes that Clyde completely dominated. I think it was the last 10 minutes that Clyde got a little bit tired and Celtic pushed everyone forward, went to a slightly different system, took Hartson off. Zurawski came on and made a little bit of a difference, but not a great difference. But even so, it wasn't a pounding. It never became a real pounding the way Celtic pounded Hearts last week and got the deserved win. It never looked like that. And every time Clyde broke, it looks as if they just had enough. They had enough that they could have actually scored themselves. So on balance of play, there is no doubt at all about it.
The amazing thing watching it, I'd said this during the game, I was working today on the radio, I said that I felt that at half-time that Celtic were actually better in Bratislava in the first game of the season than they were today. They played better against Armenia.
Yeah.
That's a woeful Celtic performance. Gordon Strachan summed up saying players didn't follow instructions.
Roy Keane. Didn't figure greatly in the game. No Celtic player did. He was Roy Keane. He did a lot of organising and encouraging, and this was a header which might have done
two things
better.
He did. One was the header here. Not the best headers, but it shows he's capable of giving Celtic something in the box. That was one of the positive things. Another one was the pass. We're about to see a terrific ball through for McGeady.
It was outshone by the Clyde midfield. It was certainly outshone by Bryson. But playing in the midfield, and every Celtic fan will tell you this, they didn't expect Roy Keane and Neil Lennon to be a central midfield partnership. That was a lovely ball show through. It shows you what he's capable of, but the one thing I would say, not one game after being out for how many, 13, 14 weeks, whatever, it doesn't matter how great a player, it takes a little while to get yourself back. And I've come up later on in my career as well to play in Scotland thinking, I'll be like to walk into this. It was a struggle right at the start, for the first 3 or 4 weeks. You didn't know your players around you didn't know the system. It was extraordinarily frustrating.
You couldn't blame him on what happened today. It's not his fault that happened. He was
it didn't have anything around
frustrated.
him.
But certainly the Keane-Lennon midfield partnership did not work today.
No.
They were maybe because they just didn't have the legs, or maybe it was just one of those days. But these were the scenes at the end, and a thoroughly deserved win for Clyde.
It's amazing, and one of the amazing things that you go to a game like that and you see people. There are a lot of obviously celebrities in the audience, and you do expect people.
Well, I tried to keep myself as impartial as possible, being an ex-Clyde sort of player, but not everybody apparently was capable of doing that at any point.
Well, you're suggesting some of us were less than impartial?
I think so. I think the BBC neutrality went slightly out the window there.
Well, listen, the First Minister got a bit excited as well, so I think that allows me to be a bit
I think,
excited.
Well, you weren't on duty this afternoon for BBC. You were actually a Clyde director there, but I thought that was fairly restrained for you. But for every Clyde person around the place, it was a day that you just couldn't hold it back. And for none of us there who really believed that Clyde actually. None of us really believe Clyde could do it. Let's be absolutely honest about it.
I don't know. I pointed out last night that 2 First Division clubs had already beaten SPL clubs, and today Clyde were the 3rd.
Spoken like a tour director.
Let's get to Dens Park. Dundee Stranraer was the afternoon's other Tennent Scottish Cup 3rd round tie, a clash of 2 First Division clubs. Kerridon Didson reports.
After all the drama at Clyde, it was left to Dundee and Stranraer to complete third round weekend. The home side hadn't beaten Stranraer in 2 previous attempts in the league so far this term, and at first only the woodwork denied Stephen Robb a deflected opener. After a goalless first 45, Dundee got themselves in front just after half-time. Paul Dixon's running cross, leading to Craig O'Reilly's 4th goal of the season. The closest Stranraer came was from Lee Sharp's set-piece effort, which was no problem for Scott Murray in goal. Alan Kernan's side are on a pretty decent run at the moment. Dundee have only lost once in their last 7, and a 4th-round Scottish Cup tie was assured with a second, decisive strike in the last few minutes. Their top scorer, Simon Lynch, claiming his 12th goal in all competitions.
So Dundee go through into the 4th-round draw, which was made after full-time at Broadwood today by the First Minister, Jack McConnell, and Alex Smith.
And now to a draw for the 4th round of the Tennent's Scottish Cup. Number 8, Inverness Caledonian Thistle or Ayr United, Partick Thistle. Number 2, a home tie for Spartans, St Mirren. Queen of the South or Hamilton Academical, play Alloa Athletic or Livingston. Home tie for Hearts and they will play Aberdeen. A home tie for Airdrie United and they will play Dundee Falkirk, and they're at home to Ross County. Rangers and they will play Hibernian, the last tie. Clyde, they of course will play Gretna. And that concludes the draw for the 4th round of the Tennent's Scottish Cup.
And what an interesting last 8 it could be this year. When you look at those ties, at least 2 more SPL clubs will go out. Big matches between Hearts and Aberdeen, and of course Rangers and Hibs. You're looking down that list, Gordon, it could be a very odd last 8, indeed last 4 lineup perhaps.
Absolutely, I think the most that you can get out of the last 8 is 5 SPL clubs, and you know, and with the possibility of like Livingston being there, Falkirk too. And I think with Celtic getting out, I think it gives every team a lift when one of the old firm go out, because they always think that, you know, depending on the draw now, there's a real opportunity for one of their sides to go through and maybe win the cup or be in the final. You know, some good draws, especially Rangers Hibs is certainly the most interesting.
Rangers Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen are the 2 standout ties.
They're the 2 main ties, yeah.
Yeah. Clyde's reward, a home tie against Gretna, not perhaps what they'd have wanted. It's a tough one, but it's at home.
It's it's at home. That's what we always say. You want a home game in the cup, but Gretna are playing very well, and supposedly Clyde will be underdogs playing against the team coming up. So I don't actually know if that's the case, but you know, they're through. They won't care about that tonight. They'll be very happy with that. But as you say, it gives other teams a chance to get through. I felt from the start there would be, you know, Celtic, Rangers, Hearts, Hibs were the 4 teams I thought would win this trophy, and it hasn't changed. It's Celtic are out now. But it's narrowing down a lot. But I mean, the whole weekend's been a fantastic weekend. There's been phenomenal games. There's people smiling that you're not used to seeing smiling. And I particularly like to see the 3-2 game yesterday. I mean, Aberdeen coming back. Didn't like to see the end of it necessarily, but there was some wonderful games. And let's hope the competition carries on like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was even more.
But this is one of the, I feel this is one of the best Scottish Cup weeks I can remember for a long time in terms of getting shocks and results you just weren't expecting. We don't get enough of these in Scottish football, and for once this weekend we've had quite a few.
Yeah, well, it's a weekend that Spartans fans, Airdrie fans, St Mirren fans, absolutely. Clyde fans, they'll remember whatever happens from now on in. Remember for a very long time.
It's the best weekend in terms of those sort of results that I can remember, even the time that I've been in football.
Yeah, Hearts will be a little bit miffed actually, getting a tough one against Killie, which they'll come through. They've now got another tough one against Aberdeen, haven't they?
You're at home, that's all they'll care about, and I think they'll get through that one too.
Alright, so there we are. It's been a Scottish Cup weekend to remember, there's no doubt about that. Some intriguing ties. Thanks for enjoying them all with us, and we're looking forward to the next round. From us all, good night.